What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to GmiasWorld. Today we're going to be taking a different look at Madden 20. I've had many people, both veterans and some of my newcomers, that want to know exactly why I build my team the way that I build it. In addition to that, also, many people have been asking, with the way that the game is based right now, what's the best way to actually win games? Now, for one of the most recent video that I did when I was showing you guys gameplay inside of House Rules, that was just me playing around and doing everything like the way, most of my players know, my main viewers know that when I play the game seriously, I'm going to get wins because I'm actually trying to do stuff. In that actual game that I was playing, I'm just doing whatever I want because it's House Rules. You know what I'm saying? If we take a look real quickly at my head-to-head record, I don't even really care about this that much, but you'll see, in order to win the games, there's just specific things that you have to do. Now, I haven't really been able to play as much as I would like. I'm on a 2-game losing streak. Total bums have dominated me, but that's fine. Well, did I play? Who was that in that head-to-head game? Well, I think I lost to Volterex, but it's all right, bro. Like he's a decent player, so it's all good. Even though I hate to lose, but I learned a lot playing him, so that was pretty cool. But this situation right here, once I'm able to settle in and be able to get more games in, I will definitely get that win number up. But I want to talk to you guys. Pretty much my main dudes that watch my streams on Twitch, they see the way that I try to dictate the way the game goes. You guys have been asking about it, like, what do I need, regardless of the price range that I'm willing to spend, regardless of it's no money spent, whatever the situation is. What should I be doing? Like, what is the focal point of what I actually need to do in order to win more games? Now, we're going to start with the fact that everybody is not going to be able to get Michael Vick. So it's not about Michael Vick. If you're able to afford any mobile quarterback, and that includes, once you get Escape Artist, I think you just have to have over 80-something speed, because I know Andrew Luck gets it, Steve Young gets it. I would, number one, even though we don't pass the ball, all right, in this game, it's primarily because of, it's a run-stated game. Just come out, stiff arm a dude, or spin move him, juke him, whatever. Get heavy run block. Like, that's the mentality of Madden 20. So that's pretty much what you guys need to understand as you go forward. You don't need to have the fastest QB in the game. Like, when you look at Michael Vick, the one thing that I really, really like about Michael Vick is that he has a really strong arm. His throw power threshold is way above most of the other quarterbacks that are there right now, including Patrick Mahomes. Okay, he gets that 94 pretty much from John Madden coach. So those are some of the things that I wanted to point out and make you guys kind of understand the gist of what's going on. When you look at the fact that any player that can get Escape Artists will be useful to you, that's what I want you guys to focus on. Not so much the overall, not so much, the player themselves, but you have to be able to get Escape Artists. And the reasoning behind that is, what happens is if your run gets stopped, you really don't have an option to really stand in the pocket and make a lot of reads anymore because the defense is so OP. So because the defense is so OP, everybody needs to understand that in order to get wide receivers open or some of your players open, you're going to have to make a lot of decisions in order to, kind of get that time. And usually, utilizing that feature of Escape Artist will help you with that. So when you guys look at a quarterback, that's one of my main, concerns. I did like Aaron Rodgers for a little bit because he had a lot of better lead passing. He was very, very good with a lot of the things that he did. But overall, when it came down to it, when everybody started sending everybody, it became very, very crazy because I didn't have any way to kind of avoid what was going on. So I would definitely look into any of those versions of what I just said. Obviously not the higher rated Andrew Luck because that's very expensive. The redo player, even him, that's almost $1 million. I would try to look for Steve Young because for the most part, Steve Young is relatively cheap, especially if you try to snipe some of the things from his set, you can still get him relatively cheap. So that's number one. Number two, Gayle Sayers, like I told you guys before, the reason that he came about was because I pulled a version of his card in my pack opening vid, and I was like, yo, EA Sports probably wants me to have this card. I am very, very happy with this card, okay? When he gets out in the open field, it's, bruh, like, all you're going to see is his butt cheeks. Like, I'm not saying that that's something that you would want to see. I'm just saying that that's what you're going to see. Because he can spin, he can juke, and I don't know what his stiff arm is, but the other day I stiff armed a guy with that animation where I kept my hand in his throat, and he just kept stiff arming him all the way. He only has a 79, so I don't know how he's doing that. Maybe because I'm timing it right, but you guys know that stiff arm, when you stiff your arm out and you just hold him there, and then you keep stiff arming for it's like 20 seconds, and then you just throw him to the ground and keep going. He gets that animation. I don't know how, but it's not even about that. I'm gonna point out, the top icons in the corners, the left corners. You see like the little, the lightning bolt. for the evasive, and then you got the power back in Bo Jackson. I prefer at this point to have the evasive, but the power backs have actually got a boost since the last title update. They maintained that whole structure, so you will notice that players that you play with those attributes, with stronger trucks, stronger stiff arm, they're gonna connect more successfully. The only issue is that's all they have. So if you have many people in the area, they can't like double stiff arm. Like they'll stiff arm one dude, you hit a lightning bolt, and then that'll be pretty much it. Like you'll have to go from, you know, getting a lightning bolt, the dude falls to the ground, and then after that, now if you're right there again, you probably will get a successful second one, but usually you don't. You get the one, and then if the other guy's tackling him, he'll fall. Same thing with the truck. But the only thing with the truck sometimes is if many people are around, he could truck like 4 people. You know what I'm saying? But the thing about evasive, you have 2 different things that are very, very glitchy. You got the wide spin if you're holding turbo, and then you got the quick spin when you just tap the button. You just tap the spin button. You see what I'm saying? So if it's one guy, you could tap it. If it's a full like 4 or 5 guys, you could spin all of them, similar to like last year's spin move. So that, to me, being able to get to the open field and do that, that means a lot more than the power backs, because there's too much that you have to win with the power backs, as opposed to just going out there and being able to juke. You can do a lot of different things as far, like I said, the juke, the spin move. And then with Gayle Sayers, he gets a stiff arm as well. He also has a 90 break tackle. All right, so I prefer elusive. You guys may prefer power back. You just need a decent running back with decent speed. This guy, once he gets out and open the field, like I told you guys before, 91 speed, 91 excel, you're not catching him from behind. Bo Jackson, you sometimes can catch. Previously, when I had Marcus Allen, you could catch him. But that's pretty much, you know, what it was. You know, once you get out in the open field, the elusive is just so dominating. And if you have good stick, you don't even need to use the abilities most of the time. Like for me, I don't really use the abilities as much. If you guys watch me play, I just get straight stick skills. Like, bruh, boom, boom, and we out. You know what I'm saying? Like when it comes down to like winning real games, that's pretty much what you would have to do. But overall, you can have success either way. But the running back is a very, very key position. When you start to look at wide receivers, I went on a rampage and I got rid of a lot of other people, and I got players with higher deep route running, right? In case I needed to pass the ball. Now let me explain to you guys what happens with the deep route running. When you have deep route running of 90 or above, the player, the actual, routes that show up on screen when you click the button, it shows you the route differently. Okay, so for instance, if Randy Moss is on like, one of those weird post routes, or sometimes the deep ends, it'll have an extra zig, or it'll show something different when he's running that route, because his route running makes him run the route more efficient. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that he runs the route quicker. He just runs it more efficient. So anything 90 or above, you're going to see differences. Like Deshaun Jackson, he actually gets kept to a 90. So with his deep route running, you actually see it. You see what I'm saying? Like you see the differences with it. The only reason why I still keep that on right now is because in certain games, I have to pass depending on the run defenses that somebody is running. Like if somebody keeps stopping your run, right? And eventually with the way the game is, you're going to break one. Sometimes you have to pass the ball. So if that happens, you need to be prepared for that. You need to be able to, have a route that you can run and stuff like that and be able to make moves with it. And that's pretty much why I kept Deshaun so far. And I haven't rage sold him yet, because he's only at 88 speed, so he's not really burning anybody. More than likely, you would want to throw it to Tyreek Hill, because those two speed points make a huge difference in this game. All right, so as far as receivers go, you can pretty much put whatever, because for the most part, I'm not running out of, heavy wide receiver sets. So it's not really a concern of mine to actually deal with that. When you jump to the tight end position, I'm going to recommend these two, George Kittle and Delanie Walker. But before we get to that whole tight end situation, we're going to talk about the fullbacks. Now, Corey, he's my guy. All right. Why is he my guy? This guy is very, very good all across the board with the most essential run blocking mechanics. So to me, he's more valuable in these situations than any other fullback currently in the game. And he might remain that way for a while. Okay, so you would probably need to find a way to get this guy as cheap as possible, get his power up, get his theme diamond, and go from there. He's a guy that you can visibly see run in front of the person that he's supposed to block and pancake him. He's probably one of the only cards I've seen do that. So I really, really would encourage you to go ahead and do that if you can, all right? If you cannot afford him, Ricard is very good, and Sherman is very good. Now, you might ask yourself, why do I have 2 really good blocking tight ends, and I got 3 fullbacks? Well, let me explain that as well. With a lot of the heavy sets that are in Madden 20, you really need to have as many of these guys as possible, because they do get fatigued. I don't think you guys realize that, because you watch a lot of competitive players, you watch a lot of different things, and you see these guys just go out there, just be running crazy and just doing whatever. You don't realize that, fatigue comes into play. Sometimes you may need to sub these guys out to get the full gist of what the blocking that you need to take something for 6. So you need all of these guys to be able to do that. So I have the 2 tight ends, but I also have 3 fullbacks just in case of that fatigue situation, because as the defense tires out, you can put in fresh players. Eye tight, eye slot flex, whatever, bro, eye close, strong close, any of these very, very strong 2 fullback, 2 tight end type formations, single back with the 3 tight ends, you can utilize these fullbacks however you need to and try to keep them as fresh as possible. This is how I'm going to finalize it, okay, as far as, the run game, because this is part 1, because you guys wanted me to go through it. I'm going to do the defense next to kind of help you guys with that. When you look at my O-line, all of these guys are very, very stout. For the most part, they have decent strength. Run block, pass block, bro, these guys are ready to go. A lot of these guys, they get out in front, they do what they have to do. In addition to the fact that they have the John Madden coach upgrades through the passing chems, they're unbelievable players because they meet most thresholds with the high 85, high 85 or above. Some of them are in the 90s and things of that nature. I would tell you guys right now that many of you guys told me not to go after Munoz, but since I've gotten Munoz, he's been very, very good. For me. Now, like most of you, some of you guys rate sold him. You did whatever you want because he wasn't as strong as Tyron Smith. I get that. He's been playing very, very well for me. Bruce Matthews has been huge. Kevin Mawai has just been unbelievable. But the thing about him is he slashes and meets so many thresholds with his card. It's like wild. It's ridiculous the way that he does it. Now, keep in mind, as we go through this, when you look at these players that I have, I know you guys noticed that they're legends. My first 4, Larry Allen is a dog in the game, right? You can power, if you can't afford to get the full card, you can still power them up because they will still probably be the best linemen you could use while you grind solos, while you grind, grind house rules, you grind whatever you need to do to get your coins up. You can still, with their power-ups, put in work. That's how good these legend cards are. I just wanted to point that out because, like I said, not everybody's going to be able, here and there to get a bundle. Some of my viewers buy a bundle every day. God bless you guys. You know what I'm saying? So we have different type of formats. So I need everyone to understand where you look at my legends. I think that these players are so decent, that I would actually, as the legend tier, I would power them up to see what you get out of them. If you have other players that are meeting certain thresholds, run block, impact block, lead block, and you want to run with that, that's absolutely fine. But I think at this point, these legends that I'm showing you here are probably the best case scenario, in all honesty. All right? Lane Johnson. The honest truth about this guy, I'm about to raid sell him, but I just haven't had the time. So you might see him for like the next couple weeks because I have to make sure. I know Runyon is good, the Theme Diamond. I just have a feeling that we're going to have the opportunity to get an even better right tackle, or he might get an upgrade that'll make him a little bit better. But for some reason, this dudes just run right past him for no apparent reason. He's probably the weakest link right now on my O-line. And I don't really know why. You know what I'm saying? Maybe because of the lower tiers of the run block, power run block, maybe because the other guys are in above 85. That could be it. Now that I look at it and kind of take a look at that, everybody is pretty much above 85. He only has the 85 like right there at the run block, so that could be it. Is there a possibility that I'll keep the power up and then see what happens later? Yes, it's a possibility, but it's no guarantee that I'm going to do that. So for the most part, I like these 4. If you were to just go ahead and power up the, as far as you could with the legends, if you're not able to get the final cards, that's fine. You're going to still get the same type of performance out of them for the most part because they have a decent chemistry with each other as they go out there. These 4 right here. I'm telling you, it's a beautiful thing to watch your player run for 6 with no issues. So after you have all of this set, the run game, pretty much is what you're going to have to kind of focus on. I've put out other videos like showcasing some of the runs, but pretty much I run the Raiders playbook and I run, eye tight. I run a lot of different things, the eye close. Pretty much you run stretches and dives. If you guys want me to go more in depth with it as far as like how I utilize my players, let me know in the comments and we'll go from there. But this is pretty much what most of you guys wanted me to explain because you didn't understand what I was doing. Now, as far as the abilities that I have activated, your running back should always have an ability, in my opinion. He should always have an ability active. Your quarterback, if he's like Michael Vick that has, you know, escape artist and all these other things, you should definitely have him activated as well. And I would say one receiver. Now, with Torrey Holt, this is a whole nother story because I have slot apprentice on him. So that gives me post routes, out routes, and anything from the slot. That's just straight glitchy. And then the route technician gives them faster and quicker cuts. So it works out for me a lot better. But that's completely different because that's when I have to pass. I got to get glitchy. So that's what I run. But for the most part, I'm a run first offense. And that's what's ultimately going to make you win more games right now with the current state of Madden 20. I want to thank everybody for watching. I think I answered most of your questions. If I did, say got it in the comments, all right? Because most of you guys will wait for the magic word. You're going to say got it. If you need more info, just write more in the comments and I'll know so that I could probably go into more. But the next video should be the defense and we're going to go from there. Thank you guys so much for watching. You enjoy your day. Have a good one and be safe. One love, y'all.